Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, tonight, the League of Ordinary Gentlemen proudly bring to you the Fantasy Football 5-4. Introducing Boss of the Wall, Brian Roberts.
There he is.
Quick wit, slow feet, Ryan Roberts.
Yep.
Jake, Coach Root. Mm-hmm. And JT, the commish.
Fresh.
So at the end of this.
There we go.
Nicer than what he did to start out last week.
Yeah, last week it was.
Kind of put a damper on the rest of my night.
Sucks.
That was.
Why did you need to say that?
I don't know if you were going to say what I said. I don't remember what it was, and then it came to me.
Sucks. All right, so we got a little bit of order of business first and foremost.
Second and fifth most come second?
Sure. Fantasy basketball.
Oh,
Because season starts
Wednesday.
the season starts Wednesday.
Tyler's in.
Tyler's in, so we got 8.
What
got
teams
8.
he playing for? We're going to go watch.
So we got 8, correct?
I might.
Let's
right,
list these off. Let's
4.
list these off. This is important.
Why are you making that face?
Brian.
We got the Fantasy Football 5/4.
Ryan. Has anybody talked to Ransdale?
Never.
I
talked
brought
to
up
him.
to him.
I talked to him today, but it wasn't.
And then you had Reitmeyer and Michael confirmed.
Was it Reitmeyer?
Yeah, Reitmeyer, yeah.
In the text, the group text that we sent.
Reitmeyer,
And then
Michael.
Jordan confirmed at lunch on Saturday. And then he just said Tyler's in. So that's 8.
We
right?
do need to check on Ransdale, though.
Yeah.
If he wants to
Ransdale's
play.
in, that's no. Take that back. I don't want Ransdale to play. I don't want to hear about James Harden anymore.
That's 8. But if Ransdale wants to play, like, he needs to be in.
Yeah.
And then,
for sure. And then we'll just find a Rando. We'll get
See if
Ransdale to
that
go
guy
take a
can-
tummy.
yeah.
See if
Put his
that
finger in the
guy's
gas
gonna play.
It's
tank.
not even a tank of tummy anymore, which is very upsetting.
Andy Hugo.
I got some.
Yeah.
Oh, that's big news.
I'll talk.
Very
I'll
shuffling.
Is
I'll
she
talk-
a special? Is
I'll
she a
talk
special
to
somebody?
Sid. I'll talk to Sid Nairn.
Okay.
How
much-
I was like, tell her we're only putting like 20 bucks on
Yeah,
this.
yeah. How much money does it needs to be on the line?
Just chill, everybody chill. Everybody
He
chill.
knows the guy.
We're floating.
It's like, hey, it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. We put it on this.
All right.
We'll
Let
take
me
the over on some of those MAC games.
Ransdale, question mark. I should have just put question mark.
Yeah, because it,
He can't have 2 teams.
Yeah. And then Sid. I'll put double question marks. I'll put one at the front, one at the end.
You got to turn that one upside down in the front.
Oh, upside down, not backwards? Yeah. I just turned it backwards.
At that point, I don't know what.
Look,
at least you knew that it wasn't normal.
Look, I
It's
did
gotta
know
be
that.
something special.
I didn't know that.
Last time I
proud
talked
of
to Sid Nairn, he said Coach Handy and I just got into a heated argument over whether Bill Walton is a cool or not in a QB meeting. Dude, I think
I don't think Bill Walton would be good as a quarterback.
I think you know where I stand on this. I
Bill
have
Walton.
openly sent messages trying to get high with Bill.
I hate
My hair is on
And
fire.
then he said
My dad's dead. Is yours?
he sent me this right
the
after.
thing about him, his dad died. Is your dad dead? No, he's alive. Well, mine is. All right, Bill.
What's that?
This is what he sent me right after.
Is he in Maui for context? Yes. Okay. He's
I
wearing a leg.
hate with a passion Bill Walton.
I
Do you
love
really?
it. He takes you on a trip, man.
I had to.
I like
I had
it.
to watch
He's
his
on a
game.
trip.
I have to watch the Maui Invitational that was in Asheville, which is on mute because I couldn't listen to Bill Walton
The
talk.
Maui Invitational in Asheville.
I mean, who?
Hey,
They're basically the same place, right? One's got mountains, the other one's got volcanoes.
Let's not go there. Let's not go.
One's in North Carolina, one's in
I'm keeping my name up.
Hawaii.
I know where I'm supposed to be on this one.
All right, so week 1 of the fantasy playoffs was eventful. We all knew it would be. Let's start off with the most eventful matchup of the week.
Was it Jake?
Jacob Terd Sandwiches versus Jordan of
Hey, changed his
Jordan's
name.
football team.
Jordan's
Hooray!
football team.
He
That's actually a
changed
pretty
his
good
name.
name for it.
Yeah.
We told him to do it. Kickback Jacks. He said, "I'm gonna do it," and he did it. So I'm proud of you,
And
Jordan.
he did it. So let's jump right into this first matchup. Jake,
Can I give some context that when we were playing Call of Duty on Sunday
go
night,
ahead.
and Brian was like, "Well, Jake's got this one in the bag," and I said, "Well,
In the bag.
unless Lamar Jackson just does last year Lamar Jackson stuff."
But it wasn't
And
just that.
I didn't watch that game at all, so I was like, I don't know what's going on. And then I started getting notifications.
Let me tell you, you tell the story of Monday night playing Call of
Oh,
Duty.
gosh.
Jake,
dude.
you tell the story of the hurricane.
So Monday night, Me and Brian playing Call of Duty,
Uh-huh.
and we're both keeping up with the game. You know, I got it going on my phone. We're
Yeah.
playing, just kind of catching little side pieces. And I said,
Don't tell Sarah about your side pieces.
Lamar Jackson's out. He says, what? I
Yep.
said, Lamar Jackson's out. He's off the field.
Mhm.
McSorley's in.
Trace.
And he was what? He was down 5 points then.
Something
No,
like that.
I had a 1-point lead.
Oh,
Because J.K. Dobbins was still playing. He didn't leave with Lamar.
right.
McSorley's in. Jake's got it. So Brian calls Jake. He's like, hey, I'm going to get him on the phone. I'm going to congratulate
It was
him.
fourth quarter late.
Late fourth
Coming
quarter.
up.
Minutes.
Late fourth quarter.
If they don't score on this drive, Cleveland comes out and needs the ball. Game's over. I win by a point.
Is that Paul Pierce's music out here?
It's fourth down. McSorley. I'm thinking, oh gosh, dude, unless J.K. Dobbins catches
So it's third down. He got hurt.
McSorley?
I thought McSorley got hurt and Lamar ran
Yeah,
back
yeah,
out.
yeah.
Yeah, he did. You're
McSorley
right. You're
gets
right.
hurt.
McSorley
They
did.
didn't have a quarterback, and
Look,
Lamar
he
come
got hurt.
running out. We'll talk
He
about
had to
that.
doo-doo.
He did. I looked at the video because I started searching to see why he left. And I
He
told
did.
JT, I said, it says he has cramps, but I saw a video running back to the locker room. That's a doo-doo run.
Oh, yeah.
That man was prairie dogging it on the way
Fourth
back.
down comes up. I said, Lamar Jackson's coming out of the locker room. And it's like, oh, shit.
Yep.
I said,
he already did
Lamar
that.
Jackson's coming onto the field. It's fourth down.
Last game of the... Never mind.
The only thing that would have made it better is if Stone Cold's music hit as he was running out on the cover.
It's like, was that glass shattered on Call of Duty or was that on the TV? I don't know.
So Lamar Jackson comes onto the field, catches the snap at a shotgun, rolls directly right, throws a just.
It was like
it wasn't a great
8-yard
pass or
pass.
anything.
No.
It's
Just
Lamar
throws-
Jackson. You didn't have to specify. We knew.
Just throws a little lob to Marquise Brown. Marquise Hollywood Brown catches it, takes it to the end zone, and me and Brian are both just silent.
JT said the play-by-play of it was
Actually, I was because whatever Jordan beat me by 5.
Yeah.
Less than 5, and they went for 2 on that one too. And guess who they
I'll
gave
give
to?
it
J.K.
I'll give
Dobbins
it
got it.
So he's watching it, right? And I'm listening to him. JT's doing the commentary.
Right.
And he says,
That's fun.
oh, shit, he's back in. 4th and 5. Oh, he called it. Oh, shit, he's going to score. Then we're talking about, like, oh, man, that's right. But he said, oh, my God, Dobbs is running in for a 2-point conversion.
So I guess I was because he beat me by 5.
He beat you by 5?
It was a 10-point play right there. So I guess I was up 5.
Yeah, you were up. You were up by several points.
That's all you needed. You needed one stop.
You just needed that stop.
One
Your whole
stop.
season
Well,
came down to that stop, Jake.
I don't.
Jordan's, Jordan's probably at home
Yeah.
watching and says, that's cool.
No, he probably went. That sucks for Jake.
He's probably doing that laugh.
No.
Where he doesn't make a
I
noise.
know. But the worst problem is like I'm watching the first half, and Cleveland's like blitzing up the middle, which made no sense to me whatsoever. And they're man-to-man on the outside, and Lamar, who had like 87 passing yards, went for 123 rushing yards because nobody even spied him. And I'm literally sitting there like, have y'all watched a game this year? Because everyone's playing zone defense and dropping and basically saying, beat me as a passer,
Yep.
and he can't do it.
Mhm.
And then Cleveland's like, not us though. Not us. We're going to blitz up the middle, let them roll out, and just have the whole side. So
Roll out.
he had 2 rushing
Oh,
touchdowns.
whoa.
He had, other than Derrick Henry, the best week as a runner. Because
Yeah.
I guess,
Yeah, I
him,
think
I
he
guess
did.
him and Taylor.
Cam
John-
Akers, who's also on Jordan's
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
So I'm watching that, and I literally go to bed, and then I have to wake up, and I was like, I see Lamar leaves as the first notification on my phone, and I immediately, because I hadn't saw your message, or I saw you say call me, and I saw that you called, and I was
Oh,
like,
so you ignored it.
it was 6 o'clock. I didn't think you wanted me to call you at 6 a.m.
For that?
What were you gonna say? Oh, you lost.
No,
no.
I was going to send my condolences.
So I got all excited
Commiserations.
just to open my phone and find out that he had left and that he had came back in and threw, because that wasn't my first notification. It was like Lamar leaves game, and I'm like, holy, I might have won.
Yeah, might have locked it up.
Found out, and then I was like, you gotta be freaking kidding me. I lost on that.
We were calling the party buddy.
I told Brian this, and
Call off the
then
search.
we can talk about
We'll
Yeah,
some,
talk
buddy.
about this on the podcast.
some of the some of the players and stuff like that if y'all want to. But I was like, man, I think I've had the worst luck this season. I shouldn't say luck, but performances on prime time games. Is like when I had guys go on Thursday or Sundays or something like that. Like I think Juju was my highest scorer on a primetime game. He had 14 for me.
But it's
Last
not
week I
just
had
that.
Taylor have 4 point something and
Yeah,
Lamb had like 4 because
yeah.
we were talking about Michael's match the week I went against Michael. He had 60 something on with 2
Yeah,
players.
it's
and I had
a
8.
combination of your players do terrible in prime time, and
And
you play
whoever I
whoever
go
you're playing
against.
is good. Because Jordan had Dobbins and Jackson on Monday night, and then on Thursday he had what Rams
Akers and
defense
defense.
and Akers
And you're not
Yeah.
done yet. His next leading scorer was Diggs, who had the Sunday night
on
game.
Sunday night.
Yeah.
So
His
again,
primetime players came through.
I literally had this huge lead. Now I went to bed early again on Sunday, and Juju was outscoring Diggs when I went to bed, and I'm like, this is good. Like, if Juju can break even with Diggs, I feel good. And I wake up and I was like, dang, he gained 10 points on me.
Can you pull the recap up on your computer?
The recap?
Yeah, because it's got the graph that shows the points. And just look at that. Jake has a huge jump from the Sunday early to Sunday late. And then you'll see Jordon has a slow curve up.
You got an A+ grade though.
Yeah, you did.
There was nothing else I could do.
No, you had a good.
That was my actually best week of the year there, boys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not good enough.
Yeah, you had a good match. You had a good match. You had a good.
Are you having a stroke?
You had a good night. You had a good night. You had a good night.
You had a good week
I would have beat anyone else.
Yep, he had a great week.
in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
Well, yeah,
JT
that's
probably
right.
had a pretty good week.
Yeah, I had the most points out of everybody.
160.
156. I just barely outscored Jordan. But it doesn't matter.
Did you
It doesn't
have,
matter.
I looked at every because I wanted.
Did you
Jordan
have more
as the
than
matchup.
80?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Jake, man, that's a tough way to go. But I mean,
But that's
I
what
don't know what to tell you. I don't know.
Legitimately, everybody wanted to play Jordan or Michael going into that round.
You didn't want to play Jordan.
What y'all think about
Everybody
that?
Knowing
said they did.
now. Knowing now. Jordan's team was carried by Lamar Jackson, Los Angeles Rams defense, Stephon Diggs, Cam Akers.
His
He
four
had-
primetime players.
yeah,
everybody
he-
else was just average.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
If you
everybody
look at
else.
if you look at the bar graph towards the bottom,
I can't read this.
Jake destroyed him in running back.
Oh, yeah,
It's
Jonathan Taylor.
basically- Yeah, it's basically a virtual tie. by
Glad he
receiver.
decided to do something for once this season.
Yeah,
Thank
Jonathan
you,
Taylor.
Jonathan.
If Jonathan Taylor would have been playing like that for the whole season, you've got a completely different team.
Yeah.
If Austin Eckler wouldn't have got hurt, you got a completely
Jake
different
would have
team.
trusted Tim
If I-
Patrick.
If I had Kittle, if I trusted, well, I mean, the Patrick would have made it a little bit closer.
I was joking.
No, I had him in. We all talked about me flipping that like 4 different times, and then the other one I thought about taking out was Zeke, but I said I'm gonna ride with my first round. I can't put
It's your ride or die, man. It's your ride or die.
And so I mean,
Dance with the
I kind of looked at it. Taylor, my 4th rounder, came through. My 2nd rounder, Eckler, had a good game, but I didn't have him most of the season. Kittle played like 3 games for me the whole year and got hurt. And Zeke, after Dak went down, had 2 games above 10 points. So, I didn't have a good team. I think I admitted that last week on the playoffs, or the podcast. But I finally put together a good week. I thought I had a win, but Jordan showed. Give Jordan a lot of credit. His team
Not
showed
gonna
an
do it.
explosion. But here's the other thing I'd like to point out is that Jordan didn't have his top running back over the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Yep.
Or arguably his top receiver.
Yes,
Julio did not
Julio.
play.
Yeah.
So, I sat there and was complaining, I can't believe I lost like that. And I was like, really? Jordan was kind of behind the 8 ball too with how many injuries he had. And,
Yeah.
he makes us kind of rethink, should we be talking more about, Jordan has a legit chance here?
I told Brian last night.
He started 2 rookie running backs in a timeshare, and then J.D. McKissick,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
put up 154.
He did. I talked to Brian last night. I said, dude, if Julio's playing, if Cam Akers is now the guy in LA, if J.K. Dobbins is now the guy in Baltimore, then man, his team's going to be tough to beat.
Jordan's got
And
a
if
good start.
Gronk catches touchdowns, which is the
That's
only
it.
thing he did
Oh,
last
yeah,
week,
yeah.
Well, if Lamar plays like he did then, but if
even if he'd have played Baker in that match, it was a crazy high scoring game.
Yeah.
Baker had 31.
Yeah, no, he wouldn't have lost with the quarterback.
Yeah.
It
Jordan's
wouldn't
got a
have
good
hurt
team,
as
man.
much because Baker. Wow,
'Cause he didn't lead the
led-
game.
Baker has
Baker
played
played
very well here lately.
he's been showing people who Daddy was.
Well, I think the biggest thing is OBJ going out.
I think that
We've
helped.
we've said that a lot. Like, I feel like he was one that just was such a. I think he was trying to prevent the drama moment by force feeding
You
him
have
too
to
much.
force him the ball to keep him happy.
Yeah, and now he's just making throw. Like, I kind of think of like Cam Newton's Super Bowl run year, like
Without Kelvin.
Yeah,
Wow,
like,
man.
but all of a sudden he was just like trusting the system, making the throws when needed, and it was his best season as a quarterback and as a leader, I thought, because he wasn't trying to force it to one person. And I think in some ways that I understood the Browns thought, let's bring in a dynamic playmaker for our young quarterback and they'll be successful. But sometimes when you have a young quarterback and he's with the superstar, he feels obligated to try to get him the ball. Because then everyone's like, well, is Odell not doing good? It's Baker's fault. And it's like, well,
No, he's having to throw it to him when he's Odell get open.
Yeah. And
when he's force feeding you the ball.
The running game really helps him out. That's a good running game in Cleveland.
That's a good team in Cleveland.
Yeah.
What a team.
Except for coordinators who can't figure out, don't run man-to-man against Lamar because he's just going to run you off. The receiver's going to run you off, and he's going to run for big gains.
Yeah.
Very true. Very true.
You're freaking idiot.
Crazy matchup.
God, what a
crazy matchup. Probably one of the best playoff matchups I've ever seen. Comes in the first round.
Yeah.
Jordan, from all the things we said, Jordan just got bad luck.
Skort came back and beat me on that freaking Darren Sproles touchdown in the championship league. That
was a good one.
That hurt my heart.
Yeah. Scorp had a good week too. Talking about just high scoring week. Scorp, it don't show me the total, but he had 3 players go over 20. He had a good week too. He had 4 players go over 20. It's just a competitive league, gentlemen. Just a competitive league. You never know what's going to happen. Nope. And that's the beauty of it. So Jordan now goes to the semifinals.
Which we'll be talking about his opponent in our very next matchup.
We will.
Where we had balls to the wall Brian Roberts versus Steve Reitmeyer.
This matchup.
This was one that we were all really excited for on the podcast last week because we said it was probably the 2 most dangerous teams coming into the playoffs. Especially if Brian could get healthy, which we all thought that McCaffrey was going to play, only to find out that
the streak continues.
And me and Brian were talking about this. Was it like Tuesday or Wednesday when we ate, and we were sitting there, and Brian's just like, last week I thought McCaffrey was going to play up until like Saturday, and he says, of course, the week I got to play Jordan, they come out like freaking Monday and say he's out, which I guess it allows you to make the moves, but
making moves.
Making a move.
Gave you no glimmer of hope.
Yeah, no, I was okay with them doing it. If he's not going to play, I want to know early.
Yeah.
So that victim of the system versus bye week matchup. The original projection was 125.5 to 126.7. Ended up Brian 144, Reitmeyer 115. Reitmeyer did have Deebo Samuel go out very early.
Yep.
Which definitely hurt his squad for sure. But Brian just had consistency across the board. Chris Godwin was your lowest scorer, Brian, with 3.5. I think Chris
Gallman came back down to earth a little bit.
Gallman came back down to earth a little bit. James Robinson didn't really have that big game, but everybody was pretty consistent. Washington's defense.
Goodness.
That Washington defense.
Put him into last minute.
What, they have 2 touchdowns?
Yeah, 2 touchdowns, 4 sacks.
Chase Young had a pick.
15 points.
Fumble recovery for touchdown. I think
28. That was your leading score, your defense. That's a hell of a pickup, Roberts.
Yeah, that worked out.
I think I've started watching the defense like 3 times this year, and they've just been average.
Yeah, same here.
You starting them again this week?
No.
Who they play this week?
Seattle.
I would say maybe your best start outside of Washington, Gesicki. Dude, Gesicki had a game, dude.
He's been a lot better since.
I don't have him this week.
He's hurt.
Yeah,
I think he's questionable, though.
Hey, he's not playing. They got him listed as questionable.
2 touchdowns? Those 2 touchdowns were
The one he caught was in the middle of like 3
Yeah,
guys.
dude. Tua just trusted him.
That's who Tua's throwing it to.
Yeah, Tua trusted him, threw it up to him, and Gesicki came down with it, dude. Gesicki had a
Do you think his draft stock goes up after seeing him and Tua's relationship?
I hope nobody listens to this podcast, and I hope y'all forget what I'm about to say, but I think he would be one that if you're going to take a risk, he's a tight end that you would reach for.
Those mid to late rounds.
I mean, we've already talked about him twice on this podcast.
Think about it.
JT Mosley.
Trace McSorley and Mike Gesicki, their relationship at Penn State, he was the go-to guy, and he didn't disappoint.
Yeah.
If he can develop that with Tua,
Well, I mean, talk
All right, where do you put Gesicki?
Well, I mean, if Kittle comes back healthy and Kelsey,
There's your 1 and 2
there's
is not
your-
close.
your-
I think Kelsey, Kittle,
Kittle, Waller.
Kelsey, Kittle, Waller.
those
are
are the
top
top three.
Mark Andrews, still put him above Gesicki? I
Above?
probably would. I probably
Yeah.
would. Yeah.
I would put
Okay,
them
so you're
above,
4.
but I would put maybe them in the same tier.
I put Andrews, Gesicki,
If he
I think Fant's got a lot of potential.
T.J. Hawkinson.
Hawkinson
If
up
Stafford
there.
is still there,
Yeah.
Which that's
I
a
put those
great
in the
question.
same tier.
Mhm.
And then I would say Jono, but there's just a lot of mouths to feed and it's a run-heavy offense.
Yeah.
But talent-wise, he's there.
Jono's too inconsistent.
Jono is a very good talent for sure.
Yeah, they just don't throw
He
it.
just
to him.
Hunter Henry.
What killed
Him
Jono?
and Hooper in the same conversation.
Jono usually gets like 3 targets a game.
Jono?
One of those is not.
Why-
the
No,
NFL.
Henry and Hooper.
Henry and Hooper.
Yeah, because they're going into every year. They're talking about big, and
Hooper
last
sucks.
year Hooper he does. Last year Hooper had maybe 3 big games.
Hooper was fantastic last year.
I thought he
Yes.
finished like top 3 tight end.
Well, he
Yeah.
had big games.
I'm
what
pretty
he
sure it was
finished.
the opposite, though. I thought he had like very consistent because Matt Ryan threw it to him a ton last year.
No, you're all right.
Look, we can check
You're all
this.
right.
We can check.
You're all right.
This year, I think.
I think if Hunter
I
Henry
don't
could
know if
stay
he's had a big
healthy,
game this year.
consistent.
Well, he had a couple right before his appendectomy. Yeah, I think he had 2.
Hunter Henry
decent
stayed
games.
healthy this year.
Yeah, he needs to do that consistently. And I
All right,
think he
Austin
can.
Hooper last year was 6th.
Okay.
Your top 5 were Kelsey, Kittle, Waller, Andrews, Ertz.
Yeah,
Would you put Goddard above Gesicki?
If Ertz is not there, yes.
You would?
If Ertz is not there,
Ertz is not there, yes.
What about a change of quarterback?
Goddard's looked fine with.
You've seen
Hurts.
one game.
Yeah, but he looked good with Wentz. But the thing is, if Ertz is there, it puts a cap on him, just because there's 2 tight ends.
Yeah.
and they really need to put a helmet. It's risky.
I think Gesicki's in that conversation
I do
for
too.
sure, though.
I put-
Like,
I think we
outside of maybe a top
I
5.
really think he could flirt with like being top
Dude,
5. next year. Like,
talent-wise, I say he's top
I think
3 or
he
4.
could be right there with Hawkinson.
He could. I think he probably.
I think
is
they're
right.
very similar. I think they get open and they're big freaks of going up and attacking the.
I think Hawkinson's a better blocker, but I think Gesicki might be more athletic and more better going up and getting the ball
So
pass catcher.
almost
so.
that like Kelsey Kittle relation to
He's
each other.
making
Kind of.
catches.
Like how one's a better blocker and one's
Right.
just maybe more of a pass catcher.
Yeah, like Waller's not a good blocker.
No, he's just a big receiver.
Kelsey's not a
That's all
great
he
blocker.
is. He's what they should have done with them.
And that's kind of what Gesicki,
Yeah.
like Hawkinson's an
Put weight on
inline tight
He's
end.
Gonzalez type.
No offense, like an inline tight end.
Yeah.
Just
Just
all
get
right,
on the guy.
if you went to Ohio or Iowa, you're an inline tight end.
Looking at Reitmeyer's team real quick,
Okay.
because we do need to talk about his team. He's had a great year.
Proud of him.
Tyreek Hill, again, I think we talked about this last week. Tyreek Hill's top 3 receiver going into the next year. Came away with 2 touchdowns here. That rushing touchdown that he had on that reverse, I've never seen anything like it because he like tiptoed the sideline. He did like 20 yards and was just outrunning
He
everybody.
didn't do a damn thing until that. And as soon as he got that touchdown, floodgates.
He's
He
just
went
such a dangerous
He
weapon.
is.
dude.
Who did we say that we would take over him?
Maybe,
I said Devontae for sure.
yeah, Devontae and then Michael Thomas. We were kind of
I would not take Thomas over him.
I
Next
think I
year-
said
No, because of the
Devontae
big
and
play.
possibly DK, depending on
Tucked
blocking.
in.
yeah. Well, also I think depending on what happens to the quarterback situation in New Orleans.
Yeah, that's why I said Michael Thomas.
Michael
No,
Thomas.
But if
because
you're going to throw DK up there, you need to throw Jefferson up there next year.
well,
I wouldn't take just. There's no
I
way I
trust
would take
Russell
Jefferson
Wilson a
over
lot more than I
Tyreek.
trust Kirk
No,
Cousins.
but I'm saying if you're going to throw DK up there, you got.
I think we're saying who will we take over Hill next year?
right.
I don't think I would take anybody other than
No,
maybe
I would
Devontae.
take-
I would take
Tyreek
Devontae's the number 1 wide receiver for me, and it's not even close.
It's not even a.
I just think Tyreek Hill is such a game changer. Such
I
a
think
game.
Devontae-
He can
Devontae
score in
had
very
a-
different
I like
ways.
the volume red zone that Hill doesn't get because Kelsey Hawks.
I get it. Oh, I get it. But like Tyreek
I
Hill,
mean, that's the thing. There is more mouths in Kansas City than
there is. I also wonder what's going to happen that receiver opposite of Tyreek Hill next year. Because Sammy Watkins is a free agent. What do they do? Do they re-sign Watkins? Do they
could
go
just
out
draft
and
one in the-
yeah, right?
It doesn't
First,
matter.
maybe
Like
better.
as far as fantasy related, they're not relevant.
Right.
I think I've had or drafted Sammy Watkins like 2 or 3 of the last, and he has 1 or 2 games every year that's great, but you don't know which games those are going to
Yeah,
be.
you're not going to start him.
Yeah.
Because
You're
it's
not.
1 week it's Watkins, 1 week it's McCole Hardman, 1 week it's Denard Robinson. You don't know which week. Not Denard Robinson. What's his name?
DeMarcus Robinson.
DeMarcus Robinson. Denard Robinson was the quarterback for
Yeah,
Michigan.
dude. He was good for like 3 games a year, dude.
Yeah.
He was good for like 3 games a
Yeah,
year.
but that's just you don't know. But it doesn't matter for fantasy related. You're not going to be able to start any of them.
Nah, yeah, I agree with
But
that.
I mean, Tyreek Hill is just if you watch him, like, oh, this guy's like 5'9". I don't think I can be my number 1 wide receiver. Like, oh, nobody can catch him and he gets open.
and
all the time.
and he has the best quarterback.
He's got the best quarterback, offensive coordinator combo maybe ever.
Which, speaking of Devontae, like, you know, again, Rodgers puts it on a dime too. So
Maybe
that's
ever.
tough. That's tough. That's a difficult conversation to have. David Montgomery continues his kind of resurgence, kind of taking that backfield. 23 points.
First
130
carry of the
rushing
game
yards.
was an 80-yard touchdown.
Yeah, dude.
I will say, Reitmeyer probably had the best team past like 8-9 weeks we've been talking about.
Mhm.
But ever since I said that Tyreek Hill was overrated and I hate David Montgomery, they both just put up 20 plus basically every week since then.
Basically.
So,
I mean, look at it this way. If he makes one move and puts T.Y. in over Debo,
Who would have thought that?
it's a whole
Who
different
would have thought
Not this guy, I can tell you that.
This late season
Shut,
resurgence.
I ain't talking about him. We ain't spending time on that.
Dude, Brandon Ayuk is another one to talk about off Reitmeyer's team.
Yeah, we did talk about
We did
which
talk-
of the
and dude,
we thought it was.
Dude, Ayuk, this was without Debo.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But 10 receptions, 119 yards, dude. Ayuk's
That's
real
what I'm
deal.
doing.
this rookie wide receiver class has been fantastic. And the
Yeah.
fact that Jalen Rager got drafted over a lot of these guys just makes no sense.
So let me bring it up. Is this the best wide receiver class in the history of the NFL?
Yeah,
Right.
time will tell. Time will tell.
It's too early to say, but,
But
it's been.
It's a
I'm
good.
talking about as far as rookie
Good
seasons
start.
They
go.
compared it to what 2014 wasn't that Odell's class? It was Odell, Landry, and all those
Yeah,
guys.
I think
They
so,
said
yeah.
that might have been the best ever. This one, they said like 2 years before the draft happened, this had a chance to be, and I don't think it's disappointed.
No,
Like,
I hadn't disappointed.
the high drafted ones were Judy and Ruggs.
And Judy could have been a lot better.
Yeah.
Judy
I
dropped a
think
lot
he
of balls.
will.
Judy dropped
I
a lot of
think he
balls,
will.
a lot of
And-
inaccurate passes,
Yeah.
and
Tim
Cortland
Patrick.
Sutton being hurt. And
Well,
Tim Patrick
I
being
think.
balling.
I think that's.
Can't sleep on the two full.
I think that's because he's been solid, and Jared Judy, like as much as he can just create space,
Yeah.
just hasn't translated yet.
He's trying to make too many moves before he's caught the ball. Like
Yeah.
he's always thinking about making the home run play other than like making the simple play. And I think sometimes that's like I noticed Jefferson because I watched a little bit more of the Minnesota game. He catches the ball. Like he catches it and sometimes he gets 2 or 3 extra yards on it.
Yep.
But his main focus is make the catch.
Make the catch
the
first.
Yeah. And I feel like he's kind of translated that over well compared to Judy and Ruggs. I mean, even Ruggs, man. Ruggs is thinking about trying to make so many
Yeah.
dancing moves. I'm like, dude, you're doing more time dancing than you are just
You're
finding
Devin
the
Weesing it
opening.
right now.
Yeah.
Devin Weesing, that's a good. The thing about Jefferson, he has like a elite receiver with
the
him
opposite,
to
yeah.
learn from.
Yeah.
And Thielen's
And it's
clearly
paying
had an
off.
impact on that.
Oh, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. Because that's Thielen.
Yeah.
Like Thielen's not going to be flashy, but
No.
he's going to catch the ball.
Now-
he's going to do everything
He
you
gets
ask him to
open.
do.
Yep.
Right.
What's a
Right
better
now.
combo? Thielen and Jefferson this year or Thielen and Diggs past couple years? I think-
Yee, dude, that's
I
tough.
think Thielen and Jefferson have worked better together. I don't know if they complement each other better or just it's worked better. But
Dalvin's also been healthy, so that's something to
That's
throw
a big
in
thing,
there.
too.
but Dalvin was pretty much healthy all year last year until about week 13 or 14, and Diggs was just completely. I'm not happy. I want the ball more.
Yeah.
So the question transfers to:
But that's what
did they make Kirk Cousins look better, or did they have a better Kirk Cousins?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
If they make Kirk Cousins look better, then you'd have to say Diggs and Thielen. If Kirk Cousins was a better football player then you would say Jefferson and Thielen.
I don't think Kirk
That's a
Cousins elevates the players around him. I think he uses the players that are there the way they're supposed to be used, but I don't think he makes the players around him better.
and that's kind of the
Which
conver-
Rodgers does.
Right.
Peyton Manning used
Yeah.
to. Tom
Yeah.
Brady does.
Did.
the conversation we
God
were
almighty.
having earlier about the prima donna aspect, and I think that's one thing that has been a little bit overlooked this year is that Diggs had that kind of label coming
Yeah,
out
for
of
sure.
like that Minnesota was just wanting to get rid of him
Yeah.
because he was causing problems in their locker room. So I had my doubts about Diggs in Buffalo because I was like, what if he comes up there and they're going to try to establish a run game? Josh
Right.
Allen hadn't really been proven like he had played this year.
He's been inaccurate ever since he was in high school.
Exactly. And so, like, I didn't know if that would be a good marriage, and instead Diggs is what, top 5? And
I think Diggs is tied with.
Keenan
I think
Allen.
he was tied with Keenan Allen in receptions. I think Keenan might have gotten 1 or 2 after they announced that last night. And he's top
And
2 or 3.
Yeah, he's top.
He's top 2 or 3 in targets and receptions.
Yeah.
And I think he's
And
top 5 in yards.
Yeah.
So-
It's not touchdowns.
I mean, really, you look at it, they got rid of a problem in Minnesota, and they got a draft pick and immediately took a young receiver on who has been productive. And then Buffalo got number 1 that I can't tell you last time I felt like Buffalo had a number 1 receiver.
All right. Kelvin Benjamin was there a couple
Lee
years ago.
Evans.
Yeah, Queen Latifah. was
Honestly,
there.
that's probably that's
Robert
like
Woods.
Stevie
Stevie
Johnson.
Johnson and Robert
Oh,
Woods were the last 2
Stevie
they
Johnson.
had.
But I think
How long they keep Robert Woods?
3 years, I think.
not long enough.
They drafted him in the first.
Yeah, probably should have waited a year.
I think he was the first or second rounder out of USC. And I think he was there like 3 or 4 years, and then
I thought it was only like 2 or 3, and they got rid of him.
I don't remember if they traded him or if he was a free agent.
I can't remember either.
Either way, yeah, like they haven't had a dominant receiver. Like you have to shade, you have to roll your coverage to him. You got to game plan against him, really. Steven Johnson that year, where I think he was 1,000 yards,
Yeah,
100
he
catches.
was.
That guy.
He was good that year for sure.
And then he
went to the Chargers, had 2 or 3 really good games right there at the beginning. That didn't.
Then he cursed God.
He cursed God because he dropped
And
the
then
ball.
it was done.
Yeah, he never did.
He
He
really-
was cooking something up.
And he did.
What did he say? What did he say? Okay.
I got
Career's up.
He's done. He's done.
Send him to San Diego. That's punishment enough.
Your name's Stevie. You're lucky you're a good football player.
it. Yeah, you got much else going for you.
Hey, whoa! Fleetwood Mac has something to say about that fella.
Get him.
There's
Get him.
no point.
Get him.
There's no point.
Good
So
job,
Brian moves on to the semifinals. And we'll talk about Brian a little bit later.
Good job, Reitmeyer. I hate you had to lose in the first round.
Reitmeyer had a good year, man.
Oh, yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm singing Dreams. You want me to keep going?
You gonna drink some cranberry juice and go on a skateboard?
Nah, he got COVID. Dogface got COVID.
Okay.
You brought it up. The guy, the
Did he
Latino
die?
guy that was skateboarding with the cranberry juice
Yeah,
that
but
got
I'm
famous
not
on
seeing how
TikTok.
that was relevant to the question.
Did he die?
I just said he got COVID. I can't be around him. I don't know how to
I didn't
skateboard.
say me.
Okay, all right. Let's go to Baba Booey, question mark, Andrew Ransdale versus
You know what?
Ryan
Let's go back to what we were talking about
of the
before.
fantasy
So many
phenom.
questions.
This was a nail biter.
So, original projection here, 111 to 127 in favor of Ryan. Final ended up being 108 to 80 in favor of my boy Andrew Ransdale. All right. Look at this matchup, man.
Everything went right until the game started.
Yeah. Tell us about that.
All right, so it was like I think it was Saturday. Myles Gaskin comes down with the COVID. He's out.
COVID.
Andrew has no running backs other than Chubb that were active and healthy on his team to start. I was like, well, that's good. And then they just announced on Sunday morning that Brandon Cooks is out.
Yeah.
So he was
down.
down Will Fuller and Brandon Cooks.
Yeah.
So Andrew's like, well, I'm just not even going to start Deshaun Watson. So he takes Deshaun Watson out. I was like, all right, so he's down Cooks and Watson and Gaskin.
Yeah.
I was like, I've got this in the bag. And then the
David
game.
Johnson.
He called me on Sunday morning, was asking what he should do. I was like, dude, I literally don't have a clue. And he hadn't changed Deshaun yet. And he's like, do I keep Kirk Cousins in or what? And I was like, at least you got a triple up possibility. Like, if he throws a touchdown, it's most likely going to go to
One of those
Thielen
two.
or Jefferson. And if he throws 2 and goes to each one of them, it's already worth
And
it.
it went to Irv Smith Jr.
Well, he picked up Cordero Patterson before he picked up DeAndre Washington to start as the second running back. And then he dropped Patterson and put Washington. And Minnesota was terrible in that game. They were
That's
getting,
the thing. He won.
they were getting destroyed by Tampa Bay. And then the fourth quarter, when Tampa Bay started backing off their coverage a little bit, underneath the Jefferson, underneath the Thielen, underneath the Jefferson, I was like, daggone it. But I was still okay because those three had gone.
75, yeah.
Those three had gone, and I was fine. And then I looked at my roster, and they decided not to show
Let
up.
me ask you a quick question.
Go ahead.
Tell me if I'm wrong, but I thought last week you said you were going to take Chark out and put Edwards in.
No, it was the other way around. I had Edwards-Helaire in, and I took him out for Chark because I didn't know. I couldn't guarantee that Edwards-Helaire was going to get the carries.
Your receivers really failed you.
Oh, I know. I'm aware, buddy. Robert Woods got 5.6 on Thursday night. I was like, daggone, he's usually my consistent 10 every single week.
So you had a total of like 16 points between your 4 receivers. Yeah.
And
What's
going,
happened to McLaren?
well,
Well, Alex Smith got hurt in like the first quarter of that game. So
Yeah.
Dwayne Haskins had to come in.
Enough said.
And that's all you got to say about that. And he had Richard Sherman on him for most of
And
the
he had
game.
Richard Sherman on.
And he did have Richard
And
Sherman
then
on him.
Johnson didn't do too much.
Let's stick to football, Jay.
Woods, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had a shot, and
That's
then
enough.
Chris Carson was dominating in that first half.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just started blowing him out. I don't know how many carries he got after halftime. And then Aaron Jones is playing the worst run defense in football, and Aaron Rodgers decides, hey, we're going to let Aaron Jones get us all the way down to the 5. He's going to be tired. We're going to put Jamal Williams in the game, and then we're just going to do play action and throw it to Tunyon and throw it to Devontae Adams. And that's what happened.
So-
He benefited.
Never mind. We'll come back to that.
We'll get back to
we'll
that.
come
Yeah,
back
yeah,
to
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because you bring up a good point about
Yeah.
that Green Bay game.
Yep.
Looking at Ranzitty's team, Nick Chubb continues to do Nick Chubb things. 2 touchdowns, 103 yards total.
This was an anticlimactic matchup. Nobody played well
Nick
besides
Chubb.
Chubb.
Yeah, Nick Chubb.
Keenan had a good
Keenan
game.
had a good game. I will say this.
He didn't look great, though. He hurt his hamstring at the end of that game.
Go figure.
Tunyon was a good start for him in that flex. I know he was kind of scrambling there.
Yeah,
Tunyon
you know, when
ended
he
up
scored
being
much
pretty
of
good.
a choice.
He scored that garbage time touchdown with like 5 minutes to go, 6 minutes to go. And that was Tunyon wasn't supposed to be playing.
He's more bitter than Jake is tonight.
I know. Calm down.
Well, no, like, that's what I said. I said it looked like the perfect storm before the matchup started. And then it happened and everything just fell apart.
Yeah.
Question: where's Tunyon in that tight end conversation?
Are you
Jay-
asking Andrew?
I feel like he's too inconsistent.
I feel like he's just a flyer. You hope
Okay.
he's basically, I was going to say he's
Bobby
Kyle Rudolph,
pickup.
but he actually gets some yards because he's got Rodgers.
Yeah.
But
Is he a pickup or a draft?
He's a draft.
He's a
He'll
draft.
get
He's
drafted.
how weak the tight end position is. But
I don't know if he gets drafted
He's
as a
not-
starter.
I wouldn't take him inside the top 9 rounds. I can
That's
tell
what
you
we
that
need
much.
as fantasy owners. We need an NFL draft that's just got a lot of good tight ends in it.
I feel like he
Well,
would be how
I
I
think one
treated
of the
tight
best-
end this year, where I took Jared Cook and Blake Jarwin, 2 of my last 3 picks. Just a flyer if he works out, he does. But you're not drafting him in the top half of the draft, hoping he's going to be your every week starter.
There's a tight end coming out in the draft this year. I will take ahead of him for sure.
Kyle Pitts,
Yes,
he's freaking solid.
Pitts is good.
Best tight end Florida's had in a while.
Yes. We can't talk about the
Somebody
last
say
one.
it. Somebody say it.
No, we can't talk about the last one.
Bang bang.
Jay did.
I didn't say it.
You alluded to it. Okay. All
Bless you.
right. So, Ranzitty moves to the semifinals. And
Two-Face.
let's check out our last matchup from week 1 of the fantasy playoffs. It was Broach versus Michael. So, hey, first off,
First things first, I'm the realist.
got to commend Michael on making the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Got to commend
And
Michael.
you got to apologize for telling him to start Roethlisberger if it hurts.
I told him to start Hurts.
I told him to start Roethlisberger. It wouldn't matter.
I was on that hill.
I mean, it wouldn't have made a difference, but
It wouldn't have made a difference, but they won that game.
Pittsburgh has looked terrible like last month.
Yeah, Pittsburgh has not looked good. All right, so let's go ahead and start at the top with Broach's team, Rodgers and Devontae Adams. So last week we made a little side bet here.
daggone.
So here was the projected fantasy points that we came up with for Rodgers and Adams. JT, me, said 63.
Mhm.
Ryan said 37. Okay.
That was wishful thinking.
Jay said 44. Brian said 51.
And
the
it is-
total,
51.
51.9. Roberts, you nailed it.
Thank you.
You get both showcase showdowns.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
You
The
get
price is
ATV
right.
You get the ATV and the triple.
Price is
play.
right, bitch.
Price is wrong, Bob.
You want me to soda?
Cindy, she hear Jake squeak.
Yeah, I did.
The trick you-
All right, so Ron's going to get this side. Rodgers and Adams was top 2 scorers. After that, you had a couple of guys in the teens. Amari Cooper came down with a touchdown. Melvin Gordon didn't have the game that we kind of talked about on last week's podcast. Said Melvin Gordon could have a really good game because it's supposed to be raining. But
Yep.
guess what?
It didn't rain.
It wasn't raining.
No rain.
It was Monday.
No rain.
It was Monday.
It did rain on Monday.
No. No.
There was no
But
rain.
there was no rain.
Then Darren Waller was his other scorer in the teens with 11, 7 receptions, 75 yards. Darren Waller, we'll speak more about him a little bit later on.
A lot of tight end talk tonight.
A lot of tight end talk. So Brooks put up 111. He's projected 131.
Jake made a butt joke.
That switch just flipped.
Yeah.
Real quick.
But at the end of the day, Michael just didn't have the firepower that's been coming through for him the last few weeks.
You want his lips right now?
I was singing a rap song, and I know you don't like this.
So looking at Michael's team,
Oh.
his top score was his defense. Tennessee had 16. They had a block kick, which definitely helps.
You know what?
Block kick.
Okay.
I looked at him too. The way you said it.
And then next up on the board was Drake, who had a real bad
We got a
start.
good one, Coach. Roethlisberger probably would have been a better one to talk about.
But
I don't get it.
Drake had more.
Cooper Cup,
Drake had more.
Cole Beasley.
Drake had more.
I don't get it.
Drake had more.
When you listen back, you'll understand.
Okay.
Drake had more.
Yeah, Drake had 15.5, his second leading
Which is
score.
more.
80 yards and a touchdown, 10 receiving yards. James Conner,
You
18
think they
rush
could go after
yards.
another running back this
Golly,
offseason?
Well,
He's been a
Hold
little
on.
bit of a disappointment.
hold on now. They've got their running back of the future.
Yeah, McFarland.
Trail.
Yeah, the snail trail, Benny Snail.
Yes.
Junior.
Yes. Junior.
I think he could be a good spell guy.
Yeah, I think he could. But I think
Appreciate
Snell, good spell, but be interesting. There's a couple guys coming out of Carolina they could look at.
I think the snail trail's gone stale, and they need to go down to the Tar Heel fellas.
Javante.
Even though Javonte's coming back for his senior year. Good job. Way to go, Javonte.
If Javante went there, that'd be a very good marriage.
looking at Michael's bench,
Okay.
he had Tony Pollard, which he could have started,
Mhm.
which would have been really better than like Connor Perriman that he ended up playing. And Jalen Hurts, if he'd have started him over Roethlisberger, that'd have gave him a couple more points. But Michael just didn't have it this week.
No, I just did.
Yeah,
That's what in the cards.
That's the argument I was trying to make when we were talking about Michaels last week. Do you have confidence starting Pollard or Hurts first round of the playoffs? Like, just because they could put up a dud just as easily, or probably more than likely, more so than they would.
Yeah.
Putting up a dominant week.
Cole Beasley's been really good without John Brown in the lineup.
Yes.
But Beasley just didn't really have it. Corey Davis, who had 180 some receiving yards last week.
AJ Brown.
Corey Davis has been more consistent as far as yardage than Brown has like the last month or two. It's just he didn't score and didn't actually have that this
He
week
just
because
didn't do
AJ
it.
Brown literally went off.
Yeah, he just didn't do it. Cooper Kupp had a touchdown, but still didn't reach his projection. Mike only had, two players reach their projection, and that was Drake and Tennessee's defense.
Yep.
Just a bad week for Michael. And Broach's team, I mean, again, like Rodgers and Devontae Adams, they're going to put up some points. If the rest of his lineup comes together, which this week is looking pretty good.
Yeah.
Again, Broach has a pretty dangerous team.
This week
He gets three players outside of Rodgers and Devontae that hit double digits. He's got a really good shot.
He's got-
and
His
he
chances
got his number one running back.
Yeah, it's basically the Packers and the Raiders. How that offense goes is how his team's going.
Mhm.
Yeah, his thing is, I think the spot in his lineup is that running back too. Like Todd Gurley's like
Well, he was
cliff.
touchdown dependent for most of the year.
Yeah, and now he's
just
not scoring.
getting
He kept saying that he was getting like 40 yards, but he was scoring every week.
Now he's not
scoring.
So
Apparently, his knee's gotten worse.
And they played a lockdown defense last week.
I think we talked about
They
losing.
did.
He's hold up in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They did.
They have.
How about the Chargers? I just had to look around real quick. All right, so Broach is in the semifinals.
Moving on.
So, this week, boys, we only got two matchups to look at in week 2 of the fantasy playoffs, the semifinals. All right, let's check it out. So let's stick with Broach. We'll go Broach. Bob boy, Andrew Ransdale, question mark.
Wasn't a good Thursday night.
Was not a good Thursday night for Ransdale. So we just talked about how Broach, again, if he can have some guys put up some points outside of Rodgers and Adams, then Broach is going to be pretty good. Well, Broach's original projection, 124. After last night, Broach's live projection is now 141, and that is in large part to the Las Vegas Raiders.
Even though John Gruden wore the wrong cat out there that said Oakland.
What did he say about that? I saw he said something today. I didn't.
There's no telling.
I don't know. Aaron Andrews was like, he might have done that on purpose, and he's got a lot of hats. He really loved coaching the Raiders, but we don't know. And that was all that was whole
Loved coaching the Raiders. He still coaches the Raiders.
Oakland when he originally coached them, so he's probably got some of those hats. And somebody's like, it could have been an old pitcher. Like, I don't think he wore the mask in the old picture, so that's stupid.
Josh Jacobs and Darren Waller both played well last night. Darren Waller 150 receiving yards, touchdown, 9 receptions. Josh Jacobs finished with 18.9.
Over 100 all-purpose.
That's a good start.
But yet again, Josh Jacobs does what he always does. He leaves the game with some kind of injury, and you're like, oh, is he going to come back in? And then 5 plays later, he grabs his helmet, he goes back out there. But he's always that same. Is he hurt? Is he going to be down for the count?
Yeah, he's been banged up a lot this year.
Who was that used to always do that? Running back.
Running.
Every single game, it looked like he was dead. LaShawn McCoy. LaShawn McCoy, when he was in Philly, it was like every single game, he's running great. And then all of a sudden, he's down on the field. I'm like, I don't know if LaShawn McCoy was going to come back. And then 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later, McCoy's back out there and he looks the same.
Whatever happened to Malcolm Floyd?
Sleepy?
Speaking of guys that
M80?
maybe have died on the field, whatever happened to him?
Didn't he have his neck
his neck went from 7 inches to about negative. His head went. It was like a turtle shell.
CJ Nelson.
He started playing cold weather. Basically, what happened.
The other one that comes to mind.
Did you say CJ?
Yeah.
Okay, I figured.
Other one that comes to mind, I think of guys that may have
Johnny
died.
Knox?
Johnny Knox.
Yeah.
Where he got
He
beat.
got lucky.
Yeah, dude.
He got
Oh
lucky.
my god.
But the thing about Johnny Knox is he was short. Malcolm Floyd's 6'5".
Yeah.
But he was old when that happened. I think he was in his mid-30s when that injury happened. So he kept playing.
What the hell, man?
So I think he's retired.
Okay. I'm just curious. I always wonder about him. Hope he's doing right. Hope he's
Which
doing
nickname's better though?
He played in
M80,
the NFL too, don't you?
M80 or Sleepy?
Sleepy.
Okay.
It's one of the 7 dwarfs.
What are the other 6?
Yeah, name him.
Go.
Sneezy. I already said Sleepy.
Okay.
Doc.
Okay.
Grumpy.
Okay.
Bashful.
Yeah.
All right.
Funny.
Nope.
That's not one.
No.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Yep.
How sure?
I've
100%.
got the last 2.
You don't got
Coffee.
No.
Oh, what?
What are you just
Oh,
looking
no
at stuff
coffee?
around the room?
Tito?
Jermaine. Yeah. Easy.
That's an 8 out of 10. It's a British panel show joke, but go ahead.
Happy.
Yeah, I was getting there. Whoa. Happy.
You're not going to get this last one.
Angry.
Dopey.
Dopey.
I should have said Chavo.
The green and purple one.
This is not Power Rangers.
Go.
There's no purple Power Rangers unless you're doing that new Ninja
Just
garbage.
I'm talking about Power Rangers, aren't I?
No.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers! I mean, you were talking about the Power Rangers.
I don't think so.
Favorite Power Ranger
Maybe.
gun? White.
Oh,
Well, we can't record this episode anymore.
Oh, the White Power Ranger. That's my favorite.
Green. Tommy was better as the Green Ranger than he was the White Ranger. That's all I'm saying. But I was always red.
You were.
I like the Red Ranger. It was you because we were talking about it. And then I said,
How long ago was this conversation?
other night.
I don't think.
It
Within
was.
the past week?
Yes. On my mother's life, we did. And, well, I can't bring it up on this.
Okay, you've already brought up your mother's life.
That's
All right.
because it did happen.
On the Ransdiddy side of
The one guy who I thought could be his explosion player to catch an Adams, the guy who gets a bunch of targets, has been getting in the end zone here lately, Keenan Allen.
But he was hype.
Legitimately shouldn't have played.
He was hype.
Because even when he played, he looked like he was going about 50%.
Oh, so he was at 100%.
Yeah, because he's 150 every single time.
So
He really only played on third downs,
yeah.
pretty much for the whole game. And then the second half, I don't know if he played more than 5 snaps.
But let's be reasonable here.
Let's talk.
This week's going to come down to 2 games. Green Bay versus Carolina
Okay.
and Minnesota versus Chicago.
Okay.
Now, granted,
Who's
Minnesota's
Ransdale pulling
probably-
for?
Marble.
Who's Ransdale pulling for?
Green Bay.
well,
I don't know what question you really asked. but
More
Green Bay.
so in the Minnesota Chicago game.
I'm still Green Bay.
he's a Green Bay fan.
I know.
So I guess he'll pull a little bit for Carolina.
Nope.
And maybe have Aaron Rodgers throw for
I think
350 with
he-
5 picks.
No, I think he wants him to go off. So when he loses, he's like, I lost to the best quarterback of all time.
But Brett Favre's retired.
Thank God.
I know. So your Chargers can finally have a chance. And they've done a lot with that opportunity.
Yeah, because
But
you know that big Packers Chargers rivalry that's going on.
well, you got to be good to have a rivalry.
All right, well, let's talk. Let's talk.
Minnesota is going to have to pretty much have one of the best games in Minnesota football history.
I don't know.
I mean, they are playing the Bears, so I mean, there's a chance they could really go off.
And the
The
Bears
Chicago's defense overrated,
Right, but
especially
Chicago's defense did hold Cook pretty much in check for a Cook performance last time they played.
Yeah, but he doesn't have Cook. He's got the pass catcher.
I know. What I'm saying is they're going to have to throw the football more.
They should.
So
yeah, that secondary is not good. Not good.
Does Ramsdale go back to Deshaun Watson if Cooks plays?
called me last night.
Yes, he will. Yes, he will, because he don't want. I know he doesn't
Called
want
me
to
last
start.
night.
What'd he say? What'd he say?
He's a huge conundrum over it. He's 50-50.
Yeah, I do not.
That's a
play
Seth
Deshaun-
Rogen movie.
I do not play Deshaun Watson if Cooks is definitely not in.
If Cooks doesn't play, I don't think he can.
Yeah, I don't think he can.
I mean, it's not like Birch is going to make a change at quarterback. If he does,
Even though
He's not.
but
Indy's better against the run than they are the pass.
right.
And so Houston might have to pass a ton, but they're
Right.
still good against the pass.
So when we're talking about it, he said, "Well, what do you think?" I said, "Man, look, playoffs.
Trubisky.
I don't like if you're at a quarterback conversation. I don't want to be the one to tell you what to do because your quarterback makes or breaks. Well, it
Oh,
doesn't make it.
No.
It depends
If
on
you
who the
don't have,
quarterback
if you have a
is.
quarterback that doesn't put up 20,
Right.
like
can-
you're in a bind.
Right.
You're behind because everybody else. Oh, he got 20. He got 20. That's great. If your quarterback doesn't put up around 20, you're basically sunk.
Yeah. At 18,
Because you're-
it's
Yeah,
shaky.
it's dicey.
It's
That's
shaky.
baked into the projections because most quarterbacks are projected around 20 at
Yeah.
least.
Right. So he said, "Well, I guess I'll just start Deshaun." So we start talking about it, and as he's explaining why he's going to put Deshaun in,
Deshaun.
he's building Kirk Cousins up more to where he's saying everything he would say if he had said I was going to start Kirk Cousins.
Yep.
So I said, "Why don't you start Kirk Cousins?" And he said, "Well, now I think I am." So I guess he is going to go with Cousins.
to be a fly on the wall.
I mean, you kind of have to. Like this is his possible last game of the year, and he can't hold it.
And you can't hold anything back.
And the only way you can, if you want to try and beat the double up of Rodgers and Adams, then you're going to go with a Cousins
A
and his
triple
top
up.
2 wide receivers.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk.
Talking.
You called it last week.
Okay.
Now, Rodgers and Adams are playing Carolina on Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, Saturday Night Football.
They are projected at what, 42?
Yep.
Yeah.
42 points.
Yeah.
What are you telling us this week, Roberts?
I think 42 sounds about. It's not going to be 51. I think Carolina's defense is a little underrated, and I think they're underestimated. I mean, they're still going to go off.
So you're saying 42 is
I think
your projection?
I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised.
Are you saying that's because one of your favorite numbers?
42?
Yeah.
It's not even really one of my favorite numbers. It was just the
Is it top
largest
12?
number we had at random.
Is it top 12?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I like 50
called
more than
it.
like 42.
Over
I
under
know that.
42.
37. Under.
Thank you.
What if I said 37 and over, trying to hedge my bet? I said
Over,
30.
over under 42.
I said 37 last week.
Let's
so-
go to Vegas. I just want to see what they do with the tables.
Right.
Carolina.
But it all on black.
Post
A little bit on red.
It's not like you're going to
Get a
carry
bar
it
of chips.
anyways, so I
Hey,
can go
let me
ahead
go-
and
let me go over.
say I'm going to go over, but like 44.
44.
Top 5 number? Didn't think so.
All right.
I'll go with the over.
You said 42.
No, I said that's
You
pretty much your
pushed.
baseline.
All right, so give me a number.
42.2.
You called it last week, so
I know.
we need a
It's a
number.
lot of pressure. All right, Devontae, he's going to get at least 26, but no more than 33.
46.
46. All right, I'll go high, and I'm gonna go 51.
Not as high as last week.
No, but I was feeling pretty good there for a little while.
I felt pretty good on the 37 if the game we got canceled at halftime.
I will say this. I don't expect Melvin Gordon to have a big game.
Playing Buffalo is questionable.
What's the weather in Buffalo? Y'all were
I don't know.
on
That's
last
Cloudy.
Bruce Buffer over here.
I
Wow.
tell you this, they had a snowball.
Is there a
fight
chance of
yesterday at
meatballs?
practice.
But the thing about Buffalo is, unless it's snowing pretty much at game time,
The
they're
field will be
good
clear.
enough to clear that stuff up.
Well, most of those fields up there now have
Heat
The heat
walls
is-
underneath you.
Because I remember when Minnesota was building their new stadium, they had to play at Minnesota.
They had to play University of Minnesota.
Yeah,
Gopher
because the
State.
they didn't
stadium
have-
collapsed.
But they didn't have.
They didn't account for snow sitting on top of the roof. Go ahead.
They didn't. They didn't have a heated field because they were talking about how
Nope.
big of a disadvantage it was for the Vikings compared to playing in the dome and other stadiums like in the NFL that had the heated field. That this was like a frozen
tundra.
Yeah.
Because I think Lambeau and Soldier Field didn't have it for a long time.
But
I think they just got it recently.
Lambeau was the last ones to get it because
Yes.
it was a disadvantage to the teams coming in.
I don't think they have it in Arizona. Back to you, Bob.
Okay. Couple sneaky plays from Broach. So he's had a couple defenses on his bench.
He's had 3 defenses for the last month
Right.
or two.
You got San Francisco going against Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I like that.
I would probably.
Well, who's his other
I don't.
defenses?
Yeah, Carolina and Philly.
No.
And Carolina's playing Green Bay. Philly's
San
playing
Fran's the
Arizona.
start.
San Fran's the start for sure. I think he's had San Fran on his bench for a couple weeks now.
As many injuries as San Fran's had, they've still played pretty well.
Yeah, they have, and they're still competing. The other sneaky play here is Rashad Higgins in his flex.
Oh, the Richard.
So he's got
I don't like them going against
Gurley, Parker, Kirk, which
I like the Higgins start.
Yeah, I mean, out of those
Out of those options, I like the Higgins start.
on a Sunday night at New York.
Does Lockett just not do anything against Washington this week?
I think this might be a Lockett game.
You think so?
We've been saying that the past couple of weeks, and it's still been DK every
They
single
get to
time.
the quarterback very well. Washington does.
Yep.
I think they could kind of keep it underneath, and Lockett could have a big game here. Not saying that DK can't play that role as well.
Good thing you don't have to worry about Chris Carson because I do not think this would have been his week.
No.
Well, he is the pass catching running back, even though 2 years ago he couldn't catch it all. So he could be that outlet, or he could be caught in the block.
Lockett only put up 7 against the Jets.
Yeah, but that game was it's hard. It's hard to judge that game because it was so 40-3.
Right.
hard
Is
to
Lockett
judge.
playing Arizona this week?
Negative.
Then I don't think he's going to have a great game.
I think he's under his projection.
Okay, I think Lockett. I'm gonna say over.
All right. So you want to get this one?
All right, Lockett. Okay.
No. Let's do a just a full point guesstimation on it.
8.
Is that your guy?
On Lockett.
No, on Broach's team. What do you think he puts up this week?
129.6.
All right, Ryan. 129.6.
4. Thank you.
Okay. I don't know.
You want to go, JT? Let me look at it.
Brian's game. I'm just trying to play it.
I'm gonna say he goes 151.
Whoa.
Go out now. I said high. I said over on Rodgers and Adams. I said Lockett's gonna have a good game, so I gotta go high.
Oh, I said
I'll go
133. 37 again on Rodgers and Adams.
I'm gonna say 151.69.
Giggity.
I'll go 133.
I probably should change my 37.
Point.
man.
Nah, I don't give a shit about the point.
$1.
0.
I do. I really do. It was all lot.
You're going one?
$1 just because I think y'all
Monkey-
might have all
monkey in
busted.
the closet.
Okay, Jake, pick one.
No, I'll give you a legit one. 128.37.
Okay. So let's see. So here's what we got. Jake going low, 128. Ryan, 129. Brian, 130. JT, 151. I got a lot of faith in Brooks this week. All right, looking at the Ramsey side of the ball, he's starting
I'm gonna say
Ahmed.
Yeah.
And he's running back too.
I'm gonna say 110 or under.
Well, I guess we're going to go ahead and do our projections then. Our picks.
Yeah, I'm taking Birch.
His line projection is 107. Who can make up that gap from Jacobs and Waller?
Chubber.
Chubb,
Chubb
maybe
can.
the
Jefferson could.
the Minnesota receivers.
Andrew scoring twice.
And Andrews needs a big week here.
I mean, but he's
Pittsburgh.
already projected.
Pittsburgh against
won.
Cincinnati, they need to win this game, and they need to
Minka Fitzpatrick has to have a touchdown for Andrew to win. Write it
Pittsburgh
down.
could put up 26. Easy.
You're going to fill up that sheet.
Minka
It's the playoffs. We only got 2 to go over. Might as well spend some time on it.
has to score
That touchdown.
a touchdown. That's Ryan.
I wonder what the matchup of the week's going to be next week.
I don't know. It could be mine and yours.
Let's not try to spoil anything.
Nick Chubb. I mean,
Nick Chubb will have a big game.
You think
I
so?
mean, yeah, he just will.
playing in the rain.
Against the Giants, who have
It's
been,
not as fun as singing in the rain.
been a good defense.
It is gonna be a big
I would
game.
take Nick Chubb. Even in that matchup, I still think Nick Chubb's gonna have a pretty good game.
I don't think he's going to go for 30.
No,
I don't think he'll go for 30,
but
I
he's
think
going to be
he'll-
his projection at least.
By how
100
much?
yards and a touchdown.
Does he beat Jacobs 19, basically?
He could, yeah.
I think it'll be
No,
close.
I want you to pick there, Brian.
Yep.
Does
Oh,
he?
yeah, he'll beat it.
I don't think he does.
Well, I think he does.
I don't think he does.
Write it down.
Chubb over
Brian has
Jacobs.
Yeah, see that?
Brian.
It's pretty impressive, boys.
It'd have been funnier if you'd have wrote those names the other way.
Jacobs doesn't. Less than Chubb.
Jacob's Chubb. I don't even know who
Funny.
Jacob is.
Funny.
But you didn't, and then you read it incorrectly, so there's that.
What do you want from me, Ryan? What do you want?
More. I want more. I don't know how much more or what I want, but I want more.
Are we still talking about Chubb?
He's been wanting that for a long time.
Cat's out of the bag.
Right.
So, all right, here, one more.
And the Bulls are on parade.
Couple questions I have about Rand City's team right here.
Yep. Ask him.
Because there's a couple start sits that I think are questionable. So he's got Tunyon in his flex.
Yep.
Mhm.
On his bench, Brandon Cooks may play.
Mhm.
Yep.
David Johnson may play.
Yep.
You start either one of them over Tunyon.
There we go.
You
I
would
play
start Cooks.
I don't think I played Johnson.
I'm
No,
trying to
not
figure out
against
why
Indy.
Leonard
Not against
Fournette is not in his lineup. Ronald Jones just had surgery. He's
That
not
is
playing.
true. That is true. So would you put Fournette over Tunyon?
Yeah,
Yes.
100%. I put Fournette over Ahmed.
I would too.
I would put Fournette in over Ahmed. I don't know about Tony.
All right. The other one I have.
I legitimately think if Cooks plays, he starts Cooks in the flex.
Okay.
Cooks
Uh,
and Fournette both go in.
What about Baltimore D over Pittsburgh?
No.
Baltimore's playing Jacksonville.
It's like Ron was saying, or you were saying, Pittsburgh needs this game.
They do need this
And
game.
And
Pittsburgh
Andrew
will
can't
show up
win
for
if he
that.
starts Baltimore's D because he has to have Minka Fitzpatrick score him a touchdown. And if Minka Fitzpatrick scores him a touchdown with Pittsburgh's defense on the bench, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It's irrelevant.
It's erroneous.
Erroneous on both counts.
Okay. All right.
Shut your mouth.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Minka Fitzpatrick has to have a touchdown.
Has to has.
Cover toast baby.
All right. So, well, anything else we want to say about this matchup before we make our picks?
I don't know. Jake's got Dwight Yoakam on my brain now. I don't know what to do.
I got Brooch.
We get 1,000 miles from nowhere.
No, he was bringing up the Wedding Crasher scene.
I still got Brooch.
All right. Jake's taking the brooch.
Sorry, Ransdale.
Ryan.
Yeah. Let me ride down the Autobahn.
Taking the brooch. Ryan.
No speed limit. Just getting married, you know.
I'll go Andrew.
Not married.
Bye boy.
Are you high?
I'm going to go with brooch as well after that Thursday night game.
That's why.
So you didn't want to sweep?
Not a clean sweep.
Because it's a mess.
All right. So our other semifinal matchup this week
Really close one.
I'm going, Brian.
is Victim of the System versus Jordon's football team. This is nobody had anybody going last night. So we have the original projections at 120 for Victim of the System versus 116 of Jordan's football team. So let's take a closer look at the matchup.
You all right over there, big guy?
What's going on?
What is going on? With you? Are you sleepy? You just said that.
This is the loopy stage.
All
I don't know why
right.
you're doing weird sound effects on the podcast. That's just not smart.
You win.
Man, yeah, okay.
I didn't think.
All right, so where do we want to start on
That's
this?
what she said.
Start with Jordan
Start with Jordan. Okay.
Wow.
so I can talk.
So
You can't talk on yours.
I can answer questions.
Cam Akers last week had 170 rushing yards against New England. This week's playing the Jets.
J-E-T.
Cam Akers.
Cam Akers is. I mean, he's just been on fire.
He's the guy now.
Yeah,
right?
so
hot now.
He is. the guy.
That Cam Akers.
Um,
Is this that late season pickup that you need to win a championship?
Oh yeah,
Somebody
if
like
Jordan,
Cam Akers.
Jordan wins the championship, you're going to sit there and say Cam Akers is him, and if Lamar can keep trending up, are going to be the guys that are going to win him.
I think
Cam Akers and J.K. Dobbins are doing the same thing. It's rookie running backs they drafted high that have finally showed that, hey, their talent has won out over the veterans.
Yeah, they finally
get
phased
more
the
carries.
veterans out.
Yeah. They
And
finally-
really, Dobbins should have had more points last week. They put Gus the Bus in, who had like at least one touchdown. I think he might have had another one.
Gus is a good short yardage
Yeah,
back.
Yeah, he
well,
is.
I mean, one of them was like 11-yard touchdown run. He just kind of got to the edge and got the pylon. But if Dobbins gets in the end zone again, his projection's gone up a lot from where it had been in previous weeks.
Jacksonville's terrible.
Yeah, Dobbins should have a pretty good game. Lamar Jackson should have a pretty good game
Yes,
on the ground for sure.
Gibson's still out.
Yes.
Gibson, he went to doubtful today. It was questionable, went to doubtful.
The thing that sucks about that is Alex Smith is still out, and that was who threw it to McKissick a ton.
Yeah.
Dwayne Haskins didn't really look at him that much last week.
What did he look at?
He did look at the defensive coverages. I can tell you that much.
But I mean, what are they going to do? I mean, like, seriously, what are they going to do? Like,
He's going to throw it to Logan Thomas, and he's going to overthrow Terry McLaurin. That's all he does.
Sounded like Borat.
Sad again.
What are they going to do?
Sad again.
You can never get this. You can never get this. La, 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 la.
And then one day he got out.
We high five.
Andrew will listen to this. Just listen to this part.
You got to get him through the other part.
I know.
Or you at least got to give him a timestamp.
Hey, y'all still doing that podcast? He says it every other week. Nope. Gave it up.
Hey, he still gets title credits, though. I mean, he's legitimately part of the name.
Yeah.
Next week. Week after next will be the
Run
last
the ball.
Yeah. Hold on. Man. Okay. All right. All right. Looking at Jordan's receivers. So he's starting two receivers that he doesn't typically start. So he's starting Stephon Diggs, who's a week in, week
He
out
usually
starter.
starts him.
But he's starting Emmanuel Sanders. They're playing KC.
Emmanuel.
And he's starting Russell Gage
I appreciate
against
it.
Tampa. Michael Thomas is out.
Guys, don't listen.
Julio is out. So he's got to make a move here. Going with those two. The only other receivers he has on his bench is Tyler Boyd. And who's the other guy?
Lynn Bowden Jr.
Anytime that you have two positions on your name, you're just really not worth the damn. I'm just gonna be honest.
Well,
There's like
Taysom Hill
very
has
few, but not in Yahoo, only in ESPN. And they
Not in your
switched it.
Yahoo, Jake.
Whoa.
that Yahoo.
But Joe Webb, though.
means a thing.
Anytime you have two
Real nice.
position eligibility,
Unless it's fantasy basketball, then you want those.
yeah. But in
Yes.
football,
Good
dude, it
moments.
just doesn't work.
No.
It's just shapes.
What was it? Was it Bill Parcells that said if you have two quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks?
That's a pretty
There's
good.
Yahoo on the
It's basically if you have two positions, you're not good enough to be a starter in one, so you have to be able to play both.
Right, exactly.
spit clean.
So those are really the only two guys I could see him throwing in that
Percy
lineup.
Harvin might have been the last one that had multiple that was actually good. But they legitimately
Tom
put him on
Montgomery
top.
did for a
Could've
year.
done it before.
Yeah,
And he was.
and the only reason he was good at running back is just because
smells
they
like
had
fresh
nobody
flowers.
else. And
Yeah,
he's getting
they-
all the
they
carries.
did.
Here's running back wearing number
He's
8.
got that smile.
So Emmanuel
When I
Sanders, Russell
see you
Gage.
smile.
Like you look at this lineup, man.
I
This isn't like
That's a
a.
good. That's
Look at it. Okay, Brian.
When you look at this lineup, though, it's
Would
not
you
like.
look at it?
Did you look at it?
Wait, look
When you look at it,
Look at this. Look at that.
You know what I would say?
Well, yeah,
that's
that's
what
what
I
I
was
was saying. Look at this.
without Michael Thomas,
I said, well, you just look at it.
Right.
You really hit that.
Look at it. Right. Look at this. Look at that. Look at this.
without Michael Thomas,
Yep.
without Julio,
Yep.
without Antonio Gibson,
Yep.
Jordan's gonna have a tough week here.
But Chris Godwin doesn't have a quarterback anymore.
Not true.
Gesicki's hurt.
Okay.
I'm wavering on
McCaffrey?
Samuel again. McCaffrey's out, and I
Is
can't
Mostert?
play Crowder.
What about Mostert?
Mostert got moved to healthy, and that was a big
And
surprise.
he got moved to the flex.
That was a big surprise. But here's the thing:
Joe does.
Mostert's had an ankle injury that's really ailing him.
Yeah.
So, and they're saying that's been this big reason why he hasn't done so well.
Yeah, because
not
Jeff
bad.
Wilson Jr. has been getting a lot of
Right.
run.
Yeah.
I think
But Mostert's
Mostert's-
he's not a volume guy. It's Mostert gets that 170-yard run to the
right,
house.
but when your ankle's not holding up, you're not going to get that 70.
You don't get that voiced.
And if you look before that ankle injury, 23, 17, 13, and 8. And his 3 weeks back are 9, 4, and 8. So
You feel like you got to start him though?
he's going against Dallas. I think he's going to have too many opportunities.
You feel good starting him over both Samuel and Godwin?
No.
But look at the matchups he's had those 3 weeks he's been back.
See, I really
pretty good defense.
he has
The Rams, the Bills, and the Redskins.
Whoa! You got to put a dollar.
I'm not
in the
putting
bucket.
a dollar. It's the daggum Washington Redskins. HTTR, not HTT.
He's doing it
FT.
again. He's doing it again.
Every time I bring it up.
That F in FT, is that football or
Football.
damn? I was going to get excited.
Oh, he did.
Sorry. It's just the way I'm sitting.
I like that Irv Smith Jr. pickup
It's the
though.
pleats and the pants.
That really good.
Yeah, I mean that is a little bit of a risk, but looking at who's available, he's trending up. He's trending
If
up.
Kyle Rudolph
Pretty
ain't
good.
playing,
If Kyle
then
Rudolph is still out, because Irv Smith Jr. 's
and
very
that's I
talented.
looked at that and they're saying Rudolph's unlikely to play.
yeah, I think I like that pickup. I really do. What about Gallman? How you feel about Gallman this week? He's had some really good games up until last week. Kind of came back in there a little bit.
Until McCaffrey comes back, I have no problem starting Gallman.
Mhm.
I will ride Gallman and Robinson are two guys I'm okay with riding into a game with.
If you win this week, is McCaffrey back next week? You think?
Matt Rule said yeah, but I
said
haven't
last
trust
2
Matt
weeks.
Rule for anything on earth this year.
Whoa.
I haven't. But I'm going to take the fantasy aspect out of it. I don't
What's the
want
point of
McCaffrey
this
to play
show?
next week. I won't play
okay.
McCaffrey next week. I don't think Carolina should.
What's the point? We're
Yeah.
playing for draft picks.
Right.
Because you're paying
Play
a
to win
ton of
the
money.
game.
Well,
That's another reason I wouldn't.
And
First year
I think that's
rushing.
the reason why the team would want to be like, hey, if we're paying him, might as well see him play.
I
But
mean,
then
I don't think
that's a short term look at it.
I don't think.
And you're not making money
Now-
off this season anyways. Might as well just rest.
No, I can't say that because that's kind of bad thing to say.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's shot
Yeah,
you
that
before.
stopped you.
With this, I don't want to say it.
Nice. So how do you feel about Kyler and DeAndre this week? Both of them had 18 last week. You know,
I feel
Pretty
great
good.
about DeAndre.
I think
I
Darius
feel
Slay got
great
hurt
about
last week, right?
Darius Slay did get
If Darius Slay's not playing, DeAndre Hopkins could go off.
And that's what I'm hoping.
even with Darius Slay,
the pick of the
could
cross.
go off.
Yeah,
But,
I mean,
yeah.
Darius Slay was the only really good secondary player Philly still had.
The only thing Kyler is missing in his game
Is
It's
a healthy
rushing.
shoulder.
Being able to see over the offensive line.
is rushing.
I will say this though, Philly does look like it has some life kind of injected
Philly's
into it.
defensive line is fantastic.
Yeah.
And like they were on the field over and over and over again because Carson Wentz was turning the ball over.
Right.
If Jalen Hurts is protecting the ball,
And they're running the ball a lot more with Jalen Hurts.
they are. So,
So-
this could be actually a very good game
I
because
think it
Philly's
will be.
still right in it. Arizona has to win.
Yeah.
Has to.
That's it.
They
Has to.
have to.
Has a.
You've done
You-
the
you
has
did.
and haves been.
Jordan
Well,
Powell.
We're going to get in the truck.
Whoa,
We're
whoa.
going to
We'll
go
edit
to
it.
High Point
We'll edit
Regional
it.
We're good after
Yeah.
this is done, and we'll just let them check you out a little bit.
Okay.
Who's checking out who?
High Point Regional's going to check you
Oh,
out.
okay, gotcha.
Calvin Ridley without Julia. What do you think?
Big game.
Well, I mean,
Big game.
Big wheels keep on turning.
he's finally broken through
He's
having
bursting
big
that
games
ceiling.
without Julio in there. I think he's adjusted to being the guy now. So I'm expecting if he can put up 22 against the Chargers, then he
That's a
can
lockdown team.
then he could put up 5 this week against Tampa.
Yeah, you can't.
Five,
two
The
good
Chargers
games.
are a high school defense.
You need more than
No,
5.
yeah, I know. No, he could have a big week. I really do. But Jake likes to look at the Fearless forecast. His Fearless forecast is 18.1.
Okay.
I can see that.
Three above his
And
projection.
honestly, for the most part this year, Fearless forecast for
It's been better.
majority of the players has been closer than the projections.
Not for mine, because they always project my players to get touchdowns, and my team
Do
does
you know
not score
Fearless
a ton.
Forecast haven't done one for Tim Patrick yet? Still pissed about that.
Yep.
Come on, man.
I think it'd
he's
be a
like-
top 50 ranked player or something like that to get one.
No. CeeDee Lamb's ranked lower than
Because he's
him.
the best in the world.
And he gets one. It's like they just pick who they want to do it for.
It's clicks.
Yeah, it's bull crap.
Bells and
It's
whistles.
clicks. It's clicks.
Defense is where I'm struggling at.
Are you seeing the Kanye?
I don't want to start Indy, and I can't start Washington.
Let's see. Yeah.
You can start Washington because Russell Wilson gets sacked a lot, and he started turning the football over.
He's not been very good.
He has. And the problem is, I've been saying it as we were going in playoffs. You don't want to make any big changes.
No, you're right.
Well, let's
And-
start
and-
Jalen Hurts in playoffs.
But I mean, if anybody could do it, it would be Michael, and that's what I said. last
He
week.
still said Ben. Both y'all said Ben.
I still agree with
I
that. He
did
said
say
I
that,
can't
yeah.
take big risks. I think you don't take the big risk.
I said take the big risk.
I know.
But here's the thing: you're looking Washington's defense, 17, 22, 9, and 28.
Start 'em.
But 22 against Dallas, 17 against Cincinnati, 28 against San Fran. That 9 was against Pittsburgh.
Okay. What's
So-
Indy look like?
Kind of like a bowl with a rim bottom to it a little bit.
Okay.
Indy, they haven't been terrible. They haven't been, well, actually, no, they've been really good. 18-11, 0 against Tennessee, and that was the 45-26 game.
And that was a game
Yeah,
DeMar
that's
Butler didn't
right.
play, and they paid him $20-some million.
At Houston, 19.
All right, they're playing Houston this week at home.
Yep, against Vegas, 15.
All right, yeah, I get that Indy start. Well, gentlemen, semifinals. Victim of the system versus Jordan's football team. Ryan, who you taking?
Jordan. You're welcome, bro.
Thank you, sir.
It didn't work last week, James.
Yes, it did.
Jake?
Jordan last week.
We picked right now. You okay, buddy?
Jordan.
What's wrong?
Jake taking Jordan.
That's supposed to be in my eye.
Yes, I know that. Why is it on?
I don't know. It was bothering me.
I'm going to take.
Whoa, hold on.
It's not your
Oh,
pick.
sorry.
Hey, get out of here!
I'm going to take Brian.
I'm going to take myself. Y'all try with yourself in the playoffs.
All right, 2-2 split.
You robbed yourself a lot of times.
Every time.
2-2 split. Jake and Ryan going Jordan. Me and Brian going with the old big guy.
That's a big guy.
Hey, guys.
We
All
do,
right.
we do have an update for those that had stayed to the end.
I haven't got anything. We don't have
The
that.
winning
Sid,
raffle number.
Sid Naren responded very quickly with yes.
Good.
He's in.
What about
So,
fantasy basketball, though?
that was also a yes.
You know what?
So
are you-
Ranzel's the
hang on a
last
second.
one.
Hang on a
If
second.
we get Ranzel
You
in,
calling him?
I'll call
Oh, this is live, gentlemen. This is live. We do not know what's going to happen here. Anything goes. It is
I would put him on
live.
speaker.
No, don't.
we want to keep.
Plus, it doesn't pick up very well. But the whole.
Just go with the main reason you don't.
Well, you know, the only phone we've ever used is Bron's.
It's because
On
you
the
can. It's
podcast?
because you can talk to old Brian. Brian,
Yeah.
listen.
Yeah, but Brian can call on one of our phones,
Hang
see
on
if
a
it's the phone
Hang
or
on.
if it's the speaker.
Too many rings already. He ain't picking
He's
up.
probably sitting in church now. What the hell does that sound?
No, he's probably saying, "I got a good video. I don't want to miss out on this."
Oh,
Was that him? Did you hang up right when he
No,
answered?
it was his voicemail.
oh.
Oh.
It sounded like he said, "Hello."
Whoa! I thought he said, "What are you doing?"
Shit.
No,
I'm gonna call him again.
You won't do it?
I'm doing it right
All
now.
right, we're gonna get a little. We'll get some.
This is
confirmation
live,
from
ladies and gentlemen. This is happening right now. We
Anything
don't
can
know-
happen. Anything goes.
Matt Stafford and
Stafford and
Stafford and okay, Matt Stafford and Jesus, it's tough.
Got to run the ball.
Matt Stafford.
It's kind
You gotta run the ball.
Okay,
Well,
Matt
that's a good
Stafford.
strategy. I do agree with you.
I think it's the best strategy.
I'm
You're supposed to free stuff, Jake. That gummit.
he's
Right,
the
thanks.
rapper.
Thanks.
You wanna leave him a voicemail?
No.
No, don't leave a Nobody leaves voicemails anymore.
Anyways,
I do.
we are planning right now due to the three people I
COVID.
talked to.
Go
that Tuesday would be the best day to do the draft
Well,
before the season starts.
Every
The day before, 8:30. I'll kind of send out a time, seeing what everyone could do. But be prepared for at least, as of right now, a 9-man league, possibly 10 if Ransom.
Hopefully, yeah.
So if you do a 9-man league, does everybody get a bye week?
I don't know how.
Mind it a week.
Because I don't know if you can do matchups on odd
You
number
do.
leagues.
I don't think you can.
You
I
You
don't
have
know.
to just do total
You do have-
points.
Yeah. I think they have done bye weeks. Anyways,
Okay.
That week would be nice.
if not, I'll get some. I have other people that'll do
All right. So what are we doing? $20 buy-in.
it. $20.
Winner take
$20
all?
buy-in,
Yep.
winner takes all.
I like it. I like
Do
it.
we
I
have
don't
a
know what the-
trophy?
I don't know what the point system was last
I might get a
time,
signed
but I'm sure the
basketball.
Same thing. Who's going to sign it?
Everyone in the league, they can leave it. That would be kind of fun.
What
if
is
you
this
could be
like
like,
rec ball where
yes,
you get a ball
you
and
can be
everybody
coach.
yes.
Your
Except,
dad needs to do that.
but the cool thing is
Yeah,
you
he
can put
did.
something messed
Still
up
got
on
it.
it, like "F you for beating me in this week," like your team sucked. I don't know. It could be something where
Me and Ryan can go by the trophy store one day.
My
Yeah,
dad,
well,
my dad still has an
Let's
orange
not go all the
Converse
way
from
out.
JV basketball where all y'all signed it when him and Ellington were coaching.
Oh, does he?
It's in his office.
That was a good year of basketball.
most coaches like getting basketball. Man.
We're not coaches. We're owners.
Well, one of us is a coach. Jake, Coach Ruth.
Brian, you're a coach too.
No,
So is
not this
JT.
year. No, I backed out this year.
You can't take it out of here.
That's true. That is true.
all right, gentlemen.
What's your thoughts on this one? You think this was a good one?
London gentleman. Blackbeard's Delight.
You
Wanna
feel
end
good
it?
about this? You want to just start over right now? Let's start over.
Let's do a whole new one. All right, boys, let's start it over.
Say it. Say it.
Oh.